Today, we're taking on the Antichrist.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the podcast for those who have been burnt, who are currently burning, and those who are trying to avoid being burnt. This is Burnt on Religion. I'm Ashton. I'm everybody's favorite starburst, the pink one. This is Rusty, the red one, and, the one that everybody leaves behind, the yellow one. This is Josh.
I happen to like the yellow one. The pink is my least favorite.
Why are you so self-absorbed?
I'm having issues with the pink one right now.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Well, we made it back. We're back here. It's almost Christmas time, guys. We only have a few weeks.
Close.
Yeah, it's coming close to your shopping done.
No.
Started yet.
No.
Didn't even know it was Christmas. So, we're approaching the end of the year here. And what we're doing with it is the end times. So we're dealing with the end time stuff at the end of the year. And by the way, I want to mention something real quick. Last time I mentioned, Rusty, that you said that we're waiting on the third temple according to the futurist view. And I said, no, it's the fourth. I'm here to just apologize to you. It is the third. I was wrong. So shame on me.
Oh, you're good.
Don't listen to me. It's just, I don't know.
I'm wrong all the time. So
yeah. Well, we were wrong for decades. So why not keep it going?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So last time we were dealing with the abomination of desolation, the 70 weeks of Daniel. But with that theme, we've got to fall into this. There's this character, this one dude that a little bit of a troublemaker.
Ashton?
Yes, it's Ashton. It is Ashton. Good call. Or the Antichrist.
Ouch.
No, I wasn't calling you the Antichrist. I was saying that was the person, not you.
Oh, okay. You're still yellow, but yes, okay.
Guilty conscience.
Which is delicious. Yeah, the pink one's the strawberry, isn't it?
They have their own bag.
The
Strawberry does?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
because it's awesome.
What's your favorite, Rusty? Just real quick, we
The
got to
red.
take care of
The red.
the
Oh,
red.
see?
Yeah, the red. Yeah.
I like red, orange, and yellow. Pink is the one I'll give to anybody else.
There's something really wrong with you.
Yeah, well, you're the one that just identified with the color pink. It's not my fault, man. It's delicious. It's a yellow.
Don't, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Okay.
We're back. We're arguing over candy. Guess what you're not getting in your stocking?
Apparently, pink starbursts.
Let's get back to the Antichrist before you ruin Christmas. So I'm gonna now that everybody knows our topic, what we're doing is we're trying to figure out who the Antichrist is. Which, by the way, you should listen through the whole podcast because we are going to tell you who it is by name. We're going to give you the name of the Antichrist, but I'm going to give 10 names here. These aren't runners up, or these people are eligible. These are not people eligible for the position, but let me read these names. Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Pope Francis, Emmanuel Macron, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, King Charles III, Saddam Hussein, Ronald Reagan, and Harry Kissinger. All 10 of these guys these are the last 10 decent guesses of who the Antichrist might be. And I mean, you got both sides of the aisle there. Even in our country, you got Barack Obama and Donald Trump, which are like polar opposites as far as the aisle goes.
Sure.
And they're like, hey, let's throw them in the mix with Saddam Hussein. Let's just throw him in there with him, and let's throw Bill Gates in there while we're at it. So we're still trying to figure out who this guy is, who's the Antichrist. And according to the futurist view, he's supposed to rise to power. But isn't it amazing that it's always an American, in our opinion?
Yes.
It's always going to be our leader.
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein wasn't, but
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah.
And I remember, I know this is going to sound far-fetched, but I remember, thinking to myself, waiting to see, with everybody's speculation, which one of these people were going to, this temple to come up and this guy to be standing in the middle of it. I was waiting to see this happen,
Right. You had your newspaper in one hand and a Bible in the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that was our plan of attack: newspaper and Bible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because whenever that popped up, that's the Antichrist.
Right.
Then.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Well, guess what? The last 10 guesses we were wrong, and I don't even know how many are between the earliest one on this list to Hitler. You know how many were between Hitler and this list? You know, a lot of people. We got a lot of eligible people in the running for who the Antichrist might be. And the truth is, we're always going to get it wrong until we look at the context of Scripture. So, Rusty, your background is similar to mine on this end time stuff. I'm going to say that you thought the Antichrist was the same thing I did. Some satanic possessed
person who could possibly know it or not know it, that's going to rise to power.
Chances are he's born right now too, right?
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, he's already living in that time.
Yeah. So I was always thinking I'm probably walking on the earth with the Antichrist right now.
I could have bumped into him at the supermarket.
That's right. It's that creepy.
You laugh, but that's the mentality that was there, man.
Cut him off in traffic, and
you might have, and then he'd get you. You know, like with the side swipe of doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, it was a risky world we were living in.
Yes, it was.
So, Ashton, what was your picture of the Antichrist?
I never really had one. Never. I'd say, as far as I can remember, I don't think we really talked about Antichrist. It was, I don't know, it's like a broken record here, but it's like, man, if you weren't baptized and you weren't right with God every second of the day, then you answer to Satan, and that's your.
That is such a strict policy.
Yes.
And you're talking water baptism,
yes.
Not the baptism of the Holy Spirit, which is salvation, but
yes.
You needed that, and you needed H2O to get to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just worried about running into the Antichrist.
The doom.
The sideswipe of doom.
That's got to be heavy, man.
Yeah, that is heavy.
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't good.
As crazy as our background was, Rusty, at least it wasn't that kind of weight.
Yeah.
If I'm not right with God today, there's no judgment. It's just you're in or you're out when you open your eyes after death, and you're like, am I good? Nope. Like, okay, all right. Guess that's curtains on my show. So the entire, as far as the book of Revelation goes, so many people have got it out of context, and you can see from the last few episodes that we've done, which we've done, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes on the end times so far, and we're still rolling. The entire Bible was written for us, but the entire Bible wasn't written to us, and that's important to know, because that helps put things in context. When I see, if you see in the Garden of Eden, they were naked and unashamed. That is for you. That is not to you. So don't live by this.
Don't go out and start a nudist colony.
Right. Exactly. This is not an applicable verse for your life. Don't do that, because it was written for you, not to you. So we need to figure out where the book of Revelation, what it was written for, who it was written to, and that helps us place it into context. And it's always good to know this stuff. So Revelation 1:1, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants things which must shortly take place. That's what it was written for, to show them things that must shortly take place. But who was it written to? If it's not written to me, it's just written for me. It's important to know who it's written to. Verse 4, John, to the 7 churches which are in Asia. That's who it's written to. That's 7 churches.
You're telling me, I'm just the outsider looking in here.
Yes, you are.
You're telling me for centuries, people just didn't read the first 4 verses of Revelation.
It does seem to be a problem, yes.
Century and a half, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, century.
So verse 1, things which must shortly take place, and by 4, it was written to the 7 churches which are in Asia, not were in Asia, but are in Asia. So if they could have got to verse 4, we would have had the context.
Okay,
but
I'm just trying to,
But there's some cool stuff after that really got our focus.
Trying to look inside that little fishbowl there.
Well, the word shortly and are
kind of key.
Yeah, tell you a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does. So when Ashton reads it, he goes, "Oh, that was for them at that time. Cool." When we read it, we go, "What does it mean, Lord? Is it the guy that I cut off in the road? Is he after me, or what?" I don't know what went wrong, but something did. So, Ashton, you're the smart one at the table.
I'm just, okay, all right.
So let's focus in on this here. It was written to 7 churches. These were 7 literal churches in Asia at that time. They existed in that generation. So these weren't metaphoric churches. They were literal churches. And it's in the first chapter. He's writing it to those churches. None of those churches exist today. Not one of them stand on the planet. So that tells you, that's kind of a big clue that it's for that specific time, since they're out now. So it brings it all in. But there is a view of the historist view of the 7 churches. Are you familiar with that? Throughout history, the 7 churches represent history. Are you familiar?
No, not at all.
He's not even, I don't even know why he's here for these episodes. He has no background here.
He is pointing out that, hey, what about that?
Yeah, you're actually making us look stupid, Ashton.
You are.
It's not good
Thanks
for our
a lot,
image.
Yeah. HR, here we come.
Well, it's not going to help, Rusty. I've tried. So, Rusty, are you familiar with the historist view of the 7 churches, that teaching?
Yeah, pretty much our time period was Laodicean church.
Yep.
And you're getting that whole, neither hot, and that was the thought behind it was, neither hot nor cold. And in today's world, you've got, lukewarm Christians that aren't hot or cold, but he's going to spew you out of his mouth.
Yes, that's us.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Which happens to be the irony of this.
That's gross.
That is gross.
Yeah, that's gross, yes. So the irony of that is, the first century Christians who were martyred, burnt at the stake and all of that, who gave their lives for Christ. You look at that generation, that is an incredible generation. You would think if you could spare any generation from anything, that would be that. They would deserve it. Yeah. But no, God's going to hold this rapture idea till the lukewarm generation gets here, and then we're going to take you out of trouble. Let's spare that one. So, which, by the way, please listen to the previous episodes. We're not trying to make fun of anybody, but it almost seems like we're making light of all of this, and we're not trying to, because it is a serious topic, but we got to get it into context. And when you see it in context, it really does seem bizarre that we ever would look at the other way. So these 7 churches, they have to understand what's going on in this book, since it's written to them. So this Antichrist guy, here's the crazy thing. Never mentioned in the letter that was written to the 7 churches. The Antichrist. The only places we have that talk about the Antichrist at all are 1st and 2nd John in the Bible. The word Antichrist. That's all we've got. So let's go ahead and look at these verses just to clear up this Antichrist terminology here. 1 John 2:18 says, "Little children, it is the last hour. And as you have heard that the Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have come, by which we know that it is the last hour." So John's speaking to believers in that day, and he's telling them that it's the last hour, meaning the time has come, we've reached the end, all that.
And I've heard this verse used in the context of many Antichrists, or we're talked about many Antichrists have come. Even now, many Antichrists have come, and they threw in the whole Mussolini, Hitler, you just started grasping at people out of history going, this guy was dastardly. Yep.
Right.
You have had many Antichrists throughout,
through history. But what about the one, the winner of the whole competition?
He's not standing in the temple yet.
Oh, no. When he gets there, we'll know it was him, right?
We'll
okay. Well, this seems to be pointing to a concept, not a person here. Look at 2 John 1:7. It says, "For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. Such a one is the deceiver and the Antichrist." So the Antichrist is an influence of deceit, not a specific person. But there is this one guy, the guy in the temple. There is this one character that, and I say character, he's a real individual. But there is this one guy that all of this seems to point to. He does have this spirit of Antichrist that the Bible talks about, and he's the guy that we want to focus in on. The guy that we want to give you his name. It's not Donald Trump. It's not Barack Obama. It's not Saddam Hussein. It's not that guy you cut off in the road. It's not any of them. So we need to narrow down who this is. The beast is who it's talking about. This. He's one of the 7 heads of the beast in Revelation. That's who we're talking about. This one aggravating head of the beast, like a troublemaker.
Ashton.
Yeah, explain this, Ashton. Clear this up for us.
Well, the beast. It's
He's gonna try.
it's 7 heads and whatnot, and that one that you were talking about, the irritating one,
Right.
which clearly has a number associated to it, and
Yes,
we're going
666,
to hire a group of kids and a dog to finish this and reveal who's behind the mask.
Did you just drop a Scooby-Doo reference?
I wasn't going to say it, but
I think you're plagiarizing off Scooby-Doo. What has gone wrong with this podcast?
I just
He used to be straight to the point. Now Ashton's come out of his shell, and here we are. So I'll take the first half of what you said and run with that. The
Okay.
second half we're going to leave alone.
Oh.
But yeah, it's
that
Rutrow.
mystery.
So it is. It's one of the 7 heads is the guy that we're talking about, and he has a number associated with him, which is 666. We do have this person. So when we talk about the Antichrist in Western culture, they're one and the same. We associate the spirit of Antichrist with an individual. So let's just start breaking it open. Let's start tearing the layers apart to figure out who this guy is. Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. So here we have a metaphoric picture of the beast with 7 heads carrying a woman who is a prostitute. It's like... Yeah, it's not a tactful way to say it, but that's what we have.
It's a vivid picture.
It is. So we've got this prostitute. If you got the old King James, it's the harlot that rides on the back of the beast. So now let's narrow down on these 7 heads. Remember, we've got this woman riding on the back of this beast. So let's bring some identity to this. In verse 9, it says, "This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated." So John says the 7 heads of the beast represent the 7 mountains. Okay? If you place this description into the generation that Jesus said all of this would take place in, remember that's context, things that which must shortly take place, the generation that Jesus is speaking of. We have to view it in the context of that, not in 2025, 2026.
So we got to put down the newspaper.
We got to put down the newspaper. Yeah, put down the newspaper. Pick up your Bible and look for the context, which is shortly take place to those 7 churches. They're going to have to know what we're talking about here. Okay, which they're not going to know anything about what's in your newspaper today. They're gone. Yeah.
Bubbles popped.
Yep, bubbles popped. So, if we place it in the description, Rome had been known as the city of 7 hills for centuries by the time John wrote the book of Revelation. So, it's the city on 7 hills. That's just Rome. The beast is the description of the Roman Empire. And whoever this prostitute is riding on the back of the Roman Empire. We start pulling back the metaphor and seeing what it's talking about. We see that this harlot is riding on the back of the Roman Empire. But there's another description about these 7 heads. In 17 verse 10 of Revelation, says they are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come, and when he does come, he must remain only a little while. So the beast isn't only speaking of Rome, it's speaking of 7 kings. Mm-hmm. So if we understand that the beast is speaking of Rome with the description of the 7 hills, then we can, who are the 7 kings? They would have to be people in charge
Yeah.
in Rome. It's simple. And at that time, when Revelation was written, Rome had only had a few Caesars. That's it. Here's the list for all those people with their notebooks at home.
Not that much salad to go with.
No, no, it's just, this is it. It's Caesar salad. Okay. How do you turn off is there a dad joke button over there?
Yeah.
No.
For our listeners, they're like, what's going on there? And our viewers are like, yeah, look, they're shaking their heads at Ashton. Like, really? You did a Caesar salad joke?
Wait until the knives come out.
I've got nothing.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah, we're out too.
So here's the list of the 7 kings or Caesars that Rome had at this time. It's Julius, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, Nero, and Galba. The one who reigned for a short time would be Galba. So the person that's on the throne at this time is Nero. Mm-hmm. So, but there were 5 that were before him. So if you look at the verse there, it says there are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet to come. But when he comes, he's coming for just a little while. So at this time, Julius, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, and Claudius are off the scene. 5 had fallen. One is, that's Nero at the time. And one will come for a short time, which is Galba. And he only reigned 7 months from June to January. That's it. So it fits into the time period of that generation, things which must shortly take place. Everything links up to this description. And on top of that, we've got this lady that's riding on the back of this beast, and God refers to her as a harlot. Well, throughout the Bible, if you look through the Old Testament, God likens Israel to an unfaithful wife pursuing other lovers or other gods throughout the Old Testament. Hosea 4:12 says, a spirit of harlotry has led them away. There are plenty of other verses in the Old Testament that paint apostate Israel as the harlot.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with that, Ashton?
Yes.
You did get to hear that
We
part?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the table, Ashton.
Yay.
So what we have is you've got apostate Israel riding on the back of Rome. And look at what it was when Jesus was crucified. Who were the 2 parties that tried to take him out? It was the Jews
and Rome.
and Rome. Yeah. So it fits within this generation. It all works together. But who's this creepy dude? That's the guy that will do the side swipe of doom if you cut him off in the parking lot. That's the guy we're looking for. Who's the Antichrist? So remember, it is written to the 7 churches in that generation. So these guys are going to need to know. They need to understand it. They need to understand what's going on. So look at what John tells these 7 churches. Remember, it's written to the 7 churches, so he's telling them to do something in this verse. Revelation 13:18 says, here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. So, can you guys calculate? Guys, go calculate the number of my name.
Ashton?
Hold on.
We have dead air time.
523.
I have no idea. You could be right. You weren't going for my age, were you?
I got nothing.
Well, then 12.
Okay, all right. So, how do you calculate the number of a person's name? How do you calculate the number of a man? We don't know how to do that. We're in Western culture. That makes no sense. And remember, this generation of Christians have to understand what John is saying. He's telling them to calculate the number of this beast's name, and they'll come up with the number 666. This is a process called gematria. They had their letters have numeric value. So A would be 1, B would be 2, I would be 9. So you got that, but then when you get to 10, it starts counting by tens, and then when you get to 100, it starts counting by hundreds. So there's these letters have numeric value. So it's a system of numeric value to the letters is what it is. John's telling them that the beast was Rome, and the 7 heads are 7 kings. And if they calculate the number of the one head of the 7 heads, they would come up with 666. So, well, we have 7 kings, so we have 7 names. Well, let's start calculating the number of each name, and one of them should come up to 666. And one of them did. And this is historic. This is, if you're into your gematria statistics, you'll find out real quick that it works. Otherwise, you can just look it up. Just go ahead and pause right now and look it up online. You'll see it. Nero is the only one that added up to 666. He's the only name. If you put Nero Caesar down, you're going to come up with 666. And this is what's compelling to me. Everybody could say, well, it's all coincidence. It's all making sense. Like it's all lining up. Here's the crazy part. Somehow the people of that first generation were convinced that Nero was the beast that it was referring to. When Revelation was translated into Latin, it says the number of the beast was changed to 616, not 666. So what would be the purpose of changing it to 616? Well, the letters in Latin are different than the ones in Hebrew. So you got your numeric value is going to be off.
Gotcha.
So when they calculate the number of the beast's name in Latin, they came up with 616, but in Hebrew it was 666. So why didn't they? I mean, they had the number 666 in Latin. I'm sure they don't skip that one. I think it works the same as every other language, right? They don't go 665, 667. Yeah, we don't do math the way the rest of the world does math. They had that number. So why didn't they just say it was 666? But they changed it to 616, which really is compelling to say Nero's name in Hebrew gematria and in Latin gematria both line up to a specific number. 666 or 616. It's hard to really shake the tree and say, no, it wasn't Nero. What are the chances?
Yeah, that's
Pretty narrow corridor there.
Or nothing. I don't know. Yeah, why change it to 616 unless that was the numeric value in Latin that pointed to a specific name? And both in Hebrew and in Latin, both numbers point to Nero's name. So we're giving you the name of the Antichrist, guys. There you have it. It's Nero. He wins.
didn't even have to hire kids.
Man, I was really going for Saddam Hussein, but looks like I didn't have that on my bingo card.
No side swiping.
The side swipe of doom.
Doom, yeah.
No, nothing like that. Did anybody have Nero on their bingo card? Because
I did not. I did not.
Yeah, it was Nero, which fits the generation Jesus said everything would happen in. Everything lines up. It's actually really connecting beautifully when we take Revelation and throw it back into its context. It fits really well. So Nero he's our guy that we focus on this. But the Bible does say more about this beast than just his number is 666. He's supposed to reign for a certain amount of time. He's this troublemaker persecuting the church. There's more to be said. So now that we know it's Nero, that kind of opens things up. So, Rusty, if somebody were to come up to you, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago and say, by the way, Nero's the Antichrist, what would your response have been?
You're out of your mind.
Okay, all right. That's
So quick.
just it. It's so quick.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all there is to say.
literally, yeah. I mean, because from a futuristic idea, we haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen the temple go up. You haven't seen everything that would earmark.
Right.
This is the Antichrist. He hasn't received a fatal wound. Blah 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 blah.
That's right, because he's supposed to receive a fatal wound and die.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, he's supposed to rise again, and everybody's going to see it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, it's maybe he's the Messiah.
Yeah, and then coming up through, I mean, I'll just throw that out there. Donald Trump.
When he got shot in the ear.
That was one thing I was hearing out of the Christian culture.
Really?
Yeah. He's received the
fatal head wound.
Yeah.
Fatal earlobe wound.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not funny. It's serious. We're talking Bible here.
I mean, that's how hard people are literally are trying to connect the dots out of something that's out of context.
Yeah, because I mean, he must be the guy, right?
Must be.
Yeah, must be the guy. The same thing. Ironically, the same thing with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
You know, when he was assassinated, like people were just waiting for that third day to go by to make sure he wasn't the guy. I'm like, of all people, you really think it was him? You really? Well, he's supposed to persuade people, so it could be. Everybody's guess is
good as
anybody else's
guess.
guess. Yeah. So,
you okay over there, Ashton?
I'm just absorbing. That's what I'm doing.
You might want to put it back when you're done.
Yeah, don't absorb that.
No, don't absorb it. That's what we did. We're wringing this out, trying to get this gone. So yeah, we've got so many. We got so many different runners up for this person, but what we've got is, in context, we have Nero. It is Nero, and we do understand that there's going to be a lot of questions that come from this conversation over these weeks. That it's naturally going to rise up. But what we want to do is just kind of put it just the first 4 verses, as Ashton pointed out. How did we miss the first 4 verses? If we read those, we can put the 2 and the what together. Ashton's just here to point out the simple stuff for us, and thank you for that, by the way.
I do what I can.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
You do a lot for my ego. I will say that much.
Yes. Yeah, really helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Like you too.
Yeah. Meant that from the bottom of our hearts, Ashton. So let's give a little bit more evidence to point to Nero, and we're not making this up. You can go online, look this up, and just say, hey, could it have been Nero? Yes, it makes perfect sense that it was Nero, especially in the timeline that's laid out.
Yeah, I was going to say, logically, yes, historically, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
And to understand, just remember, Revelation was written in metaphoric, apocalyptic language, which is, it's not linear, it's thematic. So it's talking about themes. We even have the birth of Jesus Christ in Revelation, and we know that wasn't chronological.
No.
The book of Revelation, it's thematic. It's not chronological. So when we read this, we have to understand that it is metaphor, which is pointing to something real. That's how metaphors work.
Sure.
And we have to understand it's in a specific generation context, and we have to understand that these are themes. It's thematic, and that helps us when we read it. But there's this passage that says that about this Antichrist guy, or this head, one of the heads of the beast. Revelation 13:5 says, and he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, and to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. So we've got to narrow it down to this 42-month persecution of the saints. We've got to do something there. Well, this is just a fun fact for everybody. The Great Fire of Rome was set in 64 AD. So, and by the way, look it up. Nero ends up blaming the Christians for burning Rome. That he blames the Christians for setting the fire. And even though the evidence pointed to him, Rome was burnt by Nero. But he blames the Christians. So now everybody has to go after these Christians because we have a scapegoat now. Now go after the Christians. Tacitus, a Roman historian, recorded that Nero subjected, I can't read my notes here, Christians to grotesque public executions. He would burn them alive, and most people know about that, where he would light the streets of Rome, or his personal garden, where he put these Christians on these stakes, and then he'd light them on fire, dip them in fuel, and light these Christians on fire to light up his garden. Wow. Which is horrible, just horrible. They were crucified or torn apart by wild animals in the arenas. It's known history that he would do that. Or he would dress them up in animal skins and send them out and then hunt them. which
Wow.
he's a child, but he's a child with a lot of authority and a lot of evil, So he was a sick person. He insisted that he should be worshipped as God, but the Christians had a problem with that. We have one God. So Nero hates these Christians who are not going to follow him and what he says he wants. He wants to be worshipped as God. The Christians say no. So Nero was the Caesar who makes war against the saints. The Great Fire of Rome took place in July of AD 64. Within the next few months, just a few months after that, he begins persecuting the church because they refuse to worship him as God. He also needed a scapegoat for the whole fire thing. You burn Rome down, you're like, yeah, it's him. It's just you gotta point to somebody else. Nero commits suicide in 68 AD. So how long did he persecute the Christians?
About 3.5 years.
Yeah, for 42 months. 42 months is how long he did it. The persecution began in 64 AD. Nero dies in 68 AD, which fits the timeline too. So it's not just the number adds up to his name in 2 different languages, which is, what are the chances? He also fits the timeline of the 42 months that he would persecute the saints. After the death of Nero, the Roman Empire appears to be gone. Nero was the end of the Julian line, the Julio-Claudian line, and then everything. That's the end of that line right there. So when he dies, his death triggers the year of the 4 emperors. And if you enjoy reading Roman, early Roman history, you'll see this. It's called the year of the 4 emperors. And it was a power struggle of who's going to be in charge when Nero died. So the beast, which is Rome, remember we have the 7 hills or the 7 mountains? The beast was all but dead when Nero died, because it's the end of that dynasty. The Julio-Claudian dynasty is over at Nero when Nero dies. So who's in power now? You can't pass it on to the next guy. Nero already killed his wife. We have no descendants here. We've got nothing. So what do we do with this? So the Roman Empire, or the beast, seems to be wounded. But then General Vespasian rises up and he restores the empire under the Flavian dynasty, not the Julio-Claudian dynasty, but he raises it back up. And by the way, that happens within 3 days. Look at the history. It happens within 3 days. The Roman Empire falls and then rises again.
Wow.
In 3 days.
Yeah, so there's a fatal head wound, which is Nero dies. That's the head, one of the heads of the beast. And the beast seems to be gone. And then he rises again right after that, and that's where the Flavian dynasty rises up, and that ties with the image of Revelation. Also, we'll throw the verse out there for you, Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world marveled and followed the beast. It still fits. It's still, context is still flowing. And by the way, that's a way to clean up a lot of scriptural misinterpretation. It's just throw it in context. So, did you guys hear about I don't even know why I'm asking you, Ashton.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked Ashton. He didn't hear any of this growing up. But the Antichrist is supposed to get the fatal head wound, and he's supposed to rise again. So you're familiar with that.
I'm very familiar with that.
Ashton, you never heard that.
Nah.
Did you go to church, Ashton, or
Yeah,
was it?
sometimes?
Okay, maybe that's the problem.
Did you sleep during that?
No, definitely was not allowed to do that.
Oh yeah, he had strict rules.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. The piano music didn't even put him to sleep.
I didn't even have that.
No, couldn't even have piano.
Nope.
Yeah, because that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
you should be here. You should have been here for the really early episodes of Burnt on Religion. He freaked me and Josh Gregson out. Like, oh my goodness, we thought we had it rough.
Yeah.
Ashton had it rough.
Yeah.
You poor guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least
I'll
he.
take all the sympathy.
But Ashton was never worried about cutting off anybody in traffic.
Nope.
He didn't have that. So, yeah. So with this idea of the Antichrist rising in 3 days, and to show that he's the Messiah or whatever, Have you ever thought, did you ever think that that's a slap in the face to Jesus' finished work on the cross? That if the Antichrist could rise from the dead, that's the proof that we have that Jesus is who he said he was. So does that mean the Antichrist is who Jesus said Jesus was?
Yeah, when you put it that way, that really does.
With the resurrection?
Yeah, it really does seem like a slap in the face.
Yeah, and the reason I ask this is because of Acts 17:30. This is a huge verse here. It says, the times of ignorance God overlooked, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent, because he has fixed a day on which he will judge the world in righteousness by a man whom he has appointed, and of this he has given assurance to all by raising him from the dead. So, talking about Jesus Christ,
sure,
the resurrection was the assurance or the evidence that Jesus was the Messiah. So if we got some dude in the 21st century rising up from the dead, who's to say he's not the Messiah?
Yeah, well, and the way I grew up and the way I was taught, that's how they were going to know for sure, 100%, that was your Antichrist.
But that's 100% how we know it was the
Christ.
Messiah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so it's just a slap in the face to Jesus' resurrection if there was a guy who was able to do this.
Sure.
Keep it in context, it doesn't slap the finished work of Christ in the face at all.
Yeah.
Take it out of context and make it a futurist view. Now we've insulted the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Well, sure.
That is really twisted.
And that was also supposed to be how the Jewish folks knew that he was, or why they were misled into thinking that the Antichrist was a Messiah, because of the 3-day resurrection thing.
Right, but it's Rome.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, these are the rabbit trails that,
right.
all this took.
Yeah, the Jews are supposed to follow this guy because, he rose from the dead. All of that's not in the Bible.
Yeah,
it's just not in the Bible.
No.
Context is in the Bible, but
Yes.
but this stuff that Ashton's just rolling his eyes about our past, it makes sense. It's not there.
Yeah.
So we got a few minutes here. Let's go ahead and explain what the mark of the beast is, because everybody thinks it's either monster drinks, computer chip, barcodes. Do we have any other runners up for the mark of the beast? I know we had a bunch for the Antichrist, but the mark of the beast. Tattoos. That was for a while there. We had tattoos.
Barcodes,
That was computer chips.
Yeah. Like they do dogs. They put the chip in
the little capsule thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, a little tracker device, and Okay, so those aren't the mark of the beast. So you can sleep tonight. If you have a tattoo, don't worry, that's not it. If it's not your phone, it's not your credit card with the little tiny chip on there. It's not that. You take a deep breath. We're going to explain what the mark of the beast is. So Revelation 13:16 says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. This is not a computer chip. This is not a tattoo. This is not your Android or iPhone. Okay, it's nothing like that. The mark of the beast isn't a physical mark. It is a matter of allegiance. That's what it is. And you can say, yeah, but it's supposed to be visible. Well, allegiance is visible.
Sure.
It is visible. If I pledge my allegiance to something and I'm really lined up with that thing, I live for that thing. That's how that works. This allegiance would be extremely easy to identify. Remember, Nero wants to be served as God. Christians say there's no other God besides God. So your allegiance is going to match up real quick with who you follow. You're going to identify it right away. Like, hey, well, by the way, I want you to worship me as God. I can't do that. You're not part of my group. But if you can bow to Caesar as the one true God, then you're not of the Christian group. Your allegiance, it's a physical, you're able to see that. So God uses the same imagery back in Deuteronomy. Remember, John uses Old Testament imagery in the book of Revelation. Look at Deuteronomy 6:8. It says, you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes, talking about the law of the Lord. And the Jews took that to literal. They made it literal because Jews are fantastic. They put a box. It's called a phylactery. They would put a box, and it would be on their head, and it would have the 10 Commandments in it. So the law of the Lord was actually on their forehead. Which is imagery, not
great.
literal. I know it's
great.
Yeah, it's awesome. So what it's saying is the hand symbolizes actions or deeds. That's what it symbolizes, and the forehead represents thoughts and beliefs. In the book of Revelation, everybody's got a tattoo. It's just the thing of all the cool kids are doing in Revelation. So all the people that follow the beast have this mark on their right hand or their forehead. And all the people that follow God have it only on his name only on their forehead, not on their hands. Hands represent works, but our identity is not by works. It's what we believe. That's it. And the hand represents works and deeds, and the head represents what your belief is. So the mark is what they believe and what they do with their deeds. That's where the mark is. That's the imagery. And the children of God, they all have the name of Jesus right there, but nothing to do with works, because it's by grace through faith. The imagery is all there. It matches the New Testament. It unfolds. So now there's the Antichrist, just in a nutshell. And there's a lot more to this topic, but we only have so much time per episode. But that kind of gives us the Antichrist and puts it in the context of Revelation, within the first 4 verses there.
Yeah.
Right? First 4 verses giveaway. So yeah, that's the... In a nutshell, that's the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So we can cross off the list of, the 10 names at the top of our episode here. Just
throw away the bingo card.
Yep, throw it away. We're not going to win. Unless Nero is what you have on your card. By the way, that's the only name I have on mine now.
Yes.
So as soon as they call his name, I got this. So yeah, that's it for the Antichrist. But we got more to go. We're not quite to the end of Revelation, so we've got a few more topics to cover. But I want to throw this out there for everybody. We've been doing this statewide thing for a while, of who's ahead and all that. Missouri, well, we're located in Missouri. We know people who know people, and that's why we're taking the lead every single week. Pennsylvania, you were right there. Alabama, you knocked Pennsylvania out.
Pennsylvania.
One thing I did not see, though, right now, California,
Nice.
second spot.
Huh.
Really?
I did not see that coming. Way to come out of left field at us.
Wow.
Yeah, California is the number 2 spot. Then you got Pennsylvania. Then you got Alabama, which Alabama was the second one for a while there. So yeah, things are moving. And California snuck in there. We didn't see you coming, but you showed up. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
awesome.
listening. So yeah, please share what's going on with this podcast. Let people know what's going on here. We are seriously just trying to put scripture in context. That's all we're doing. So we need you to like and share and subscribe and whatever the cool kids are doing these days. Is that it? Like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up.
I'm not a cool kid.
What?
so I
What?
don't know.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what they're supposed to do? Tell them what to do.
It's like,
Ashton.
you did it so beautifully.
Okay, all right. Also, if you got any questions, concerns, comments, things you want to agree with us on, things you want to disagree with us on, just write to burntonreligion.com. That's where we are, but it's just questions at burntonreligion.com. It's that easy. Questions at burntonreligion.com, and we will listen to what you have to say. And maybe it'll get into an episode, or we'll just reach out to you personally. But this stuff ought to stir up some hornets.
A couple.
End times topics. Yeah. We ought to get things going. So please let people know what we're doing here. And here we go, 1 week closer to Christmas, guys. So maybe by next episode, you guys will have some gift spot or something like that.
I doubt it.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I got to start focusing on Christmas. So that's all I've got. You guys have anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. We're going to get out of here then.
All right.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Have a good
Ciao.
one.